Hello, Sifu JoAnn here. How are you all? Thank you for coming. Now, let's get to it. Why Jeet Kune Do for me as a woman for self-defense? Well, it all started when I was a teenager watching these amazing movies of Bruce Lee's. I always wanted to move like Bruce Lee. Yep. And back then, there were some other amazing arts that were around me because all my buddies, all my friends, because back then there was this amazing TV series that was called Kung Fu that was just catching on, and just everyone wanted to do a martial arts. Now, I didn't know back then that Bruce Lee had a great influence. In fact, that was his project. And that's another story to talk about what happened there. So back then, I always wanted to move like Bruce Lee, but nothing was around me that was moving like Bruce. So what did that mean? What that meant to me was he had a command of his body. I liked, and I said, I want that. Whatever it was cat-like, it was fiery, it was a command. It had a grace to it that I was like, wow, that really connected with my dance background. Back then I was doing jazz and ballet. So for me to see this young man move like a cat, that appealed to me. Now back then, even though what I was watching wasn't truly Jeet Kune Do, how Bruce eventually was training, passing on how to do his, if you will, his concept, his system, his way. So fast forward 35, I was told that, hey, you better back it up. You have this temperament, a way about yourself that you got to back it up. And back then I went, whoa, oh yeah, that's right. I am about the truth. I will get in your face and want to speak to you about, hey, that's inappropriate. So yeah, I wanted to back, and that intrigued me. To back it up, okay, what does that mean? Martial arts, what does that mean? Hey, why don't you do some kickboxing? I went, yes. But through that journey, Muay Thai and Savate, which we'll talk about later in another video, I was brought and introduced to Jeet Kune Do. And I was fortunate and blessed that I was able to learn Jeet Kune Do without having bad habits or being influenced by other things. And I was fortunate again. I keep saying I was fortunate because I was blessed. Here I am, a teenager now, 35 and onwards, wanting to learn and be and move like Bruce. I was then introduced to Sifu JoAnn Wabisca, who was a student of Bruce Lee, along with Sifu Fran, his wife. And I was, again, able to have one-on-one training with them. And that's when I started to go, wow, this would work. Yes, I'm not a very big person, but I have to find out a couple of things, and that's what I want to pass on to you as a woman, as a man, but as a woman, what is important to know how to defend yourself, to build that confidence, that self-esteem, that confidence to be able to know that you could strike someone and be able to get out of the situation. Number one, for self-defense is number one is awareness. Your awareness of your environment, and yes, awareness of your posture and the command you have of your body, because that everything is going to influence the situation. You being attacked is because you may have had bad posture, you look weak, you look timid. That is going to bring attention to that. So number one is being confident of being where you are, and you have a purpose, and you're there, and you are about to know where you're present. That's what I'm saying, you're present. So your environment is important, know where you're at. And there you go. Number one, self-defense, awareness. Number two is, where is your powerhouse? I learned this in a very early stage, is yeah, I could just strike and hit and kick, but there is something, if I'm this light person, and I'm being attacked by someone that is much stronger and heavier than me, how could I, at my body weight, be able to make an effect on striking and hurting someone, to slow them down at least, to get out of there? Well, you have to be aware of and practice of your powerhouse. And your powerhouse is your hips. You gotta come and strike from your hips. If you're not, and it's just upper body strength, well, believe me, that's not gonna be all that much intention on that target, because I'm not using the entire body. I am not using the whole part of me, all of me. I'm not coiling up the energy from the earth. I'm not coming from the hip power. That's number two. Very important, is knowing how to strike. The art of striking, powerhouse. Next are my favorites. Now, let me tell you, these are just few of my favorites. There's so much of Jeet Kune Do that will be ideal for different scenarios. So here it is. The scenario for me is, I know the intention of the person, the attacker coming at me. I know I'm in fear of my life. I have the opportunity of the space. One, I could run from a good hoofer, a good runner, because he doesn't have a grab on me. Or I slow down the situation, then I hoof it. So I already know the intention. So the intention is that I'm fearing my life. He's stepping forward. He steps in, which I know, which I've been taught to know that there is a step where you go, okay, you just stepped down onto my porch. And now guess what? I know your intention. You do me harm. You stepped on my porch. I'm about to strike you. I'm about, which is very important, Jeet Kune Do, intercept, the way of the intercepting fist. So I'm going to intercept. Know the intention, coming forward, he's not expecting. I give him my first strike, a buoji, a spear to the eye. Anyone, no matter how strong you are, or how big you are, or how much you weigh, getting poked in the eye is going to get a reaction. And what I want in that reaction is this, the throat. I might get the throat. Yeah, like, oh, here's my eye, I got hit. Then the strike with a fist, jab, or a cross. To the throat, I break this, right? Relax. Next thing I do is I strike the groin with the knee. Or I strike with a snap kick to the groin. So here I am, buoji, strike the throat. If I'm too close, it's a knee to the groin, or if he backs up from the strike, groin, strike, snap strike to the groin. Pendulum kick. Now, then I hoof it, I get out. So those three things is because of this scenario. Now to practice this and get this in your body is what it's all about. I enjoy training because not only is it getting me fit and gives me my eye-hand coordination, but it helps me to develop the command of the body. That's what it's all about. When I first wanted to start and move like Bruce Lee, was having that command of wanting to be able to adapt to any situation. That's another thing. Scenarios changes. I'm lucky those three things could happen. Great, but more than likely it would not. The other person is coming at me. The other person has his own adrenaline. So I would have to adapt and change to the situation. And the scenario changes. There's different things that I would do. That Jeet Kune Do, for me, as a woman, supports it. Now I know that how this was passed on was, Bruce wasn't a very big person. However, he was very strong. And he was very good and very special and unique because he had such speed and just a command. He was surreal. It was amazing. I don't have to be that per se. I just have to be effective of my own command of my body. The uniqueness of who I am can get me out of that situation. I hope that helped you and inspired you to want to come to my classes or at Ekata's classes. Go on ekata.net, and we are currently right now doing online classes. And I would be so honored for you to come in and participate and enjoy learning and journeying with me in Jeet Kune Do.